What's up, dudes and dudes here? Now, my name's Scyushi, and we are back to more Trove. Pardon me, I'm gonna try my best not to cough throughout this video. I feel fine, it's just this stupid cough is like really lingering. I hope that this is a mount from Snowfest, my god. Anyway, we already got the December letter for the community letter from the developers, so that was pretty quick. We've got the recap, which I think is worth talking about just because I was away for most of it. We had the Friendsgiving event. There was the Radiant Pathfinder update, which, okay, you know, the Draconic Pathfinder and stuff. It was a pretty significant update, most of all for Neon Ninja mains with the front flip. There was also some community goal, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, we've got Snowfest coming, so that's coming soon. The event usually ends up starting on a Tuesday, so I would assume next week, probably, unless the event is planned to last for 2 weeks, but I'm assuming they want it to last most of December. And then there's going to end up being another community event, a Christmas building event, stuff like that. Let's get to the meat of it. Everybody wants to see the community questions. So we've got a question saying, will you exclude banned players from mastery rank leaderboards? Are banned players still on the leaderboard, like even though they're banned? That's interesting. This is a valid point. We'll review how bans are handled in relation to the mastery leaderboards and look into what we can do both going forward and retroactively. That's really interesting. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, that's really bad. Because the biggest problem is like, we had another issue with duping on PC again. I don't know if you guys on console were affected by it. It seems like it got handled pretty quickly this time, so that's nice. But yeah, it does suck that, you know, the genie's out of the bottle now, like literally. People just keep finding ways to end up duping and trying to ruin the game for the rest of us, which sucks because the developers clearly didn't have anything in place to prepare for any of this. And so now it just kind of feels like they're slowly trying to cobble together like what they can to deal with these issues. And this is a big one because I feel like a lot of the people that are cheating are just looking for, you know, their own little acknowledgement from random strangers on the internet because they don't have their validation in the rest of their life. And so they're like, oh, cool, I'm on the leaderboard. Oh, I got banned. Well, I'm still on the leaderboard. It's, you know, it's their little fun in the sun rather than something that should just be stricken from the record and completely ignored and pretend they don't exist. That's what I do. Someone asking, since Twitch drops are a little more consistent now, could we see a return of promotional drops that used to be included in Twitch drops, such as the Feathered Float Mag Rider, or possibly other promo items such as the Carnival Coaster or other Brazilian items? If not Twitch drops, then could we see a return of them in some other way? I guess for mastery farmers. Great suggestion. We'll take a look at it, old promo items and potentially make a comeback. Yeah, stay tuned, whatever. How I feel about this personally is I feel a little bit odd because like one of the biggest issues with a lot of Trove's like super old like retro content and stuff is that it was supposed to be rewarded to players for, you know, either putting money towards the game or playing during the beta and stuff. And unfortunately, most of those items had mastery tied to them, and people also just whined about not having them. I want what you have type of thing. And with it, we've had stuff like this happen where we get these old items getting back into rotation and it takes away the specialness of it. Maybe I shouldn't have that mentality. I think that everybody should have the opportunity to get all these things. But for example, you know, there was the big Trove head that was like an alpha thing. There was the Trovian sword, you know, that big ugly Trove sword that nobody uses as a combat style weapon. That was an exclusive item when I was playing the game, like over 11 years ago, if you bought the $100 pack. And same with like Sprinkles, the unicorn mount. But now all of those have just been either thrown into the chaos chest or into other store fronts or whatever. I just think remove the mastery, keep the exclusivity, especially when it comes to the Brazilian items, because a lot of those were rewarded to players for translating the game. And now suddenly they're going to be taking away those rewards from those specific few. I mean, granted, are those players even playing? Is anyone playing who cares about this other than an old fart like me? Probably not, in which case, you know what? Just add it to the game. Who cares? This is a good one. Any chance we could see a hub update? Part of me feels like the hub should be way bigger with the Pathfinder update coming out. I don't know if the Pathfinder is specifically what ended up making the hub feel like it was way too cramped. I think it was when they ended up having the hub update like a year or two ago, and then they added the mystic arts and, you know, the martial arts stuff. Like they basically just, there was nowhere else for it to fit, so they just threw it into the hub, and it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, they say, we agree that the hub has become pretty packed over time, and a hub refresh is already on our list. It's not a question of if, but when. Well, the same as the new classes. Please give me new classes now, not when, question mark. Anyways, I think that the developers in this case, I know that they're probably not watching, but I think that in this case, they should have a contest for players to design a new hub. Because I think that players have a much better understanding of how the game works on like a really micro level. And so we know what we want in terms of a hub area. We want it to be efficient, we want it to be flashy, but all of the vanity of the build usually is on the outlines of it, or like up in the sky, or some really intricate pixel art on the ground or something like that, right? And if they ended up outsourcing this to players, that, you know, is kind of I personally think that they should take advantage of the fact that it's free labor from the players that the developers don't have to focus on, and having that as a community event where people can compete and someone's hub will actually end up getting added into the game. Like, isn't that cool, man? I want to see more stuff like that instead of just more dungeons by players. Dungeons being added to the game by other players is awesome, but I'd love to see the impact of the players actually affecting the game more. Like, I toyed with the idea and told the developers already that similar to how they had us vote on the next power rank sigils, they should have us vote on new classes when they have like a couple different very early concepts of a class, and then the players can vote on which of those concepts, you know, we actually want. Then the developers are still developing any of the classes that they set out, rather than players just saying by a vote, I want this type of class added into the game. You know, a community hub could be a little bit more complicated, but it still should just be a competition that has specific parameters that players would then have to utilize. And you know, we've got some amazing builders in this game that they should take advantage of, because no offense to the developers, but the community has built way more amazing things than they have. And unfortunately, that's already it. But I mean, whatever, you know, that was still good enough, honestly. I'm fine with these community questions and what have you. Anyways, what do you guys think? You know, you can sound off in the comments if you want, but unfortunately, none of your questions about Trove stuff related are gonna, you know, hit this. You can end up joining the Trove Discord though, and throw your questions in there and hopefully get them upvoted enough. I'm looking forward to the December event. I am also horrified because if you guys don't know, I've talked about this. This is a little bit beyond Trove, but I do have like, I'm gonna have my hands full. Because December 4th, I've got like 3 huge games coming out that I'm gonna try and tackle on the channel in a timely manner. Metroid's gonna probably be my first priority that I'm gonna be recording or streaming right after I'm done recording this video, and then the stream VOD of that will probably end up being posted today as well, just in case you saw the notification for me playing the game last night. Anyways, thanks for watching. Leave a like on the video, subscribe for more, and have a wonderful day.